So for tonight's topic, we are talking about darkness and spirituality, part 3. And this is about depression. And I don't wonder why not so many people are here tonight. This is how it is. This is absolutely typical. And I want to look at this topic from a spiritual point of view, from an occult point of view. And let's see how this thing can be watched and how maybe we can look in a different way on depressions after this talk. So let's start in a very easy way. I think the first thing when we hear the word depression is not a good, of course, and there are a lot of people really involved in this thing. Depression is not a joke, and when you experience depressions in what way ever, then you are mostly not in a very good mood in this situation. So I want to ask first, maybe one idea, one association. Do you have any association with depression? What would you say? One word? Saying one word? Stagnation. Emptiness. That's how it is. Stagnation, emptiness, no movement, isolation. There is, that's darkness. That's a state of darkness. Depressions are a state of darkness somehow, not in a good way. You don't feel good with this. I think this is a main...
you don't feel at all.
You don't feel at all. But, exactly, but we come to this later. Because not feeling something is not the same. It's different. Because it's not you don't feel it. There is something you feel. Depression is something you can experience. It's not just an absence. Let's look at this later. And I had this experience as well. Of course, I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. But I found a transformation, and for me in this moment, when I look back, I don't know what is tomorrow, but today I can say it's gone. How happened? How could this happen? And this is the occult thing I want to talk about now. But let's start at the beginning. The language of depression. The first thing, I think every language of this psychic states is very easy because our subconsciousness somehow is our childish self, like this you say. I think it was from Jung. And it's a very easy language. The first thing when you are experiencing depressions, or it was in my experience like this, when the depression comes, first you're not, it's sometimes very slowly, but the first thing when you recognize, okay, here it is, here I am, now I'm in, now the depression now I'm in, now it's there. You say, it's like, oh no, I don't want this now. This is the first thing you feel, you experience. You recognize, you reflect yourself and you feel like, okay, now this depression comes. When you suffer from depression in a kind of a pathological way, you have times like this, it's not always there, mostly. It's up and down, and this waves. And when this wave is coming, or the depression is coming, or in other situations, we come to this later, then it's not good. And you don't feel like, it's like no, I don't want this feeling. I don't want this depression again, because sometimes it's like from day 1 to day 2, sometimes comes overnight, or it's a few days, just very short. You don't recognize, and you're in. Oh God, yesterday everything was fine, and now, oh God, and now, and what does it mean to be in a depression? How does it feel? Stagnation, emptiness. There is no contact anymore. You are isolated. You are in kind of a shell, in kind of a whatever it is, a kind of a prison somehow. Oh, sorry, noise. And you can't really explain this. And you don't really understand why and the law. How does it happen? How does it act? And you watched your life, your whole life, when you suffer from this, You look what is going on and you try to find some structure or something to work with, but mostly there's it's impossible somehow, you know. Sometimes there are some triggers, of course, but how does it work? What is this state of mind? How can we explain it? How can we, what is it? Emptiness, stagnation. We had this thing, yeah, there is nothing, there is no feeling. There is no feeling, but this is not true because there is a feeling. Depression is not, because if you say there is no feeling, this is kind of a state of holiness. When you are, you know, like awake, and when you are enlightened, it's like, oh, there is no lust and no whatever suffering, you know, it's like easy, whatever it looks like, so, you know. So this is not the same. So it's not just like there is not this, you know, it's not the absence of anything. There is something. There is a feeling, and you know what I mean. You can feel depression, you can experience it physically. You can experience it physically. You are tired, no energy, no hunger, no motivation, no lust to do anything. So you are kind of cut off a kind of level from yourself, from your existence. It's like you are, you know what I mean? I can't explain it. Those people who know this, you know what I'm talking about. There is no contact anymore to some levels of energy in yourself. You are cut off, you are isolated. It's prison. This is prison. And the language, when I said this, oh no, you know, there's a no in it. There's a no, we don't want this feeling, we don't want the state, we don't want to experience depressions. There are not, whatever, you know, you can't, don't feel like you can use it somehow, you know. There are some states of mind you say, okay, I don't, whatever, or I go through, but this is different. This is so taking over yourself and everything, like fogging you, you know, like coming darkness over you, and you don't know what it is somehow, because where it is, you can't really get it, you know. It's like invisible somehow, but it's there. And this language, when you ask the depression, what is your idea? Why are you? What is your idea? Then you will find the simple answer that it's about the word no. It's about no. Very simple no. Just a no. There is a no in this depression. Because when you experience depression, you don't want this feeling. So you say no to the depression. You say, no, I don't want this. Oh, no. And then, but it takes no control anymore. No feelings, no. Yeah. No contact, no. And you don't want this. And in this depression, you don't want anything else. It's like, no. Somebody calls you, hey, let's go. Oh, no. Yeah, let's go this. Oh, no. Let's take, should I cook something? Oh, no. You know what I mean? It's no, always no. It's no, it's a no. But a no to what? And why there is a no? And why is this no ruling you in such a deep way that your whole personality is like in this, you know? And you are like in this prison of a no. And to understand this, after all, this is an absolute fantastic thing that you as a creature, as with all your experience and your worlds and levels, can create such an amazing situation that, like a depression. It's amazing. When you look from the creative point of view, it's amazing. You are inside yourself in an isolated state in yourself, like, you know what I mean? So, and how can this be? How can this be? How can yourself be inside yourself? You know what I mean? Like in a prison. And to look at this is how can you reach this point? And mostly this point is like you get there from kind of a hide. It's something like you go there inside yourself when there is a need to hide, maybe. Sometimes, just one idea. Maybe there was one situation in your life what was too much for you. Why ever? Can be many, many, many reasons. Was too much for you to handle it. It could be of course, it could be hard things like violence, whatever, when you are a child experiencing things. Or it could be not so hard things when you are very sensitive. Even such normal things, normal family things, structures can bring you into the situation that you don't know where to go anymore. Or also yourself, you and yourself, maybe you look in the mirror and you are not looking like whatever you imagine. Oh no, I don't want to be. There is a no to life. There is a no. There is a decision made by yourself that you don't want this situation anymore. Wherever it is. Could be outside, inside, wherever. There's a no. And there is a need to hide. And this is survival. Somehow. So you created a room inside yourself where you are away from this. You are not the experiencer. You are not in contact with the situation anymore. You are just watching from outside. There is no contact anymore. So whatever happens outside, you are like not touchable, you know. You are like, so you couldn't be hurt, you know. That's maybe one idea, you know. So or you're not contact to this situation. What is maybe too much? So you say no and you hide inside yourself and create this room. And this is absolutely amazing that human can do this. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. But the force, the energy that makes you do this needs to be very, 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 very powerful and very, very dangerous to you. Because you won't do it without necessary, you know. Yourself won't hide in this space or create this space of hiding inside yourself if there is no necessary to do it, you know. So, and it depends on the personality. It could be everything, you know, and could be from outside, from inside, you know. Could be something you don't want, yeah, whatever, or could be even the opposite. Could be something you always want. Like a partner or money or a job or whatever it is. But life don't give it somehow. You feel like. It's also depression, you know. And then you don't want the situation as well. So after all, you have the same no. Because no, you don't want this life like it is in the moment. Because you're with self-pity, whatever, you know, this life you want is not there. So you don't want the life right in front of you. So there is a no as well. And this frontal, you shut up, you close the door to the contact to the outworld. This is how it's made somehow. Very easy, in a very simple language. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, nothing at all, nothing. I'm coming from occultism and from this spiritual viewing and looking how does it work, you know. And when you are in the situation, when you experience depressions, you wonder what is different because your consciousness is still there. You are still aware. You are still aware of things. But it's not the way you like it somehow. And then you see this not having contact to some places, something inside yourself, to the other world. And this door you closed once, of course, you want to open this again, but you don't know how, because mostly this depression has like a created creature, you know, like this golem, whatever. It's a self-living creature somehow. It's an own entity somehow. When you say like this, you created somehow this state has an own living, and sometimes you can't explain why it's coming and why not, you know, and. There is, of course, in the normal therapy, we talk about this, you know, it's talking and most reflection. You go and then in the talk, maybe you can explain and you find a reason why you have or you experience depressions. Then you maybe go back into your life to experience old things again and understand why this happened. Maybe. So there are different ways to come to this point and to what to do with it, Because when you experience it, it's mostly you want to get away from it, of course. You want to get healed somehow, And the thing is, from this occult point of view, when we talk about energies, then the story becomes a different story, because you are, of course, you closed a door to some energy inside yourself. There is like a stop in the normal energy flow. Is created by yourself to get these things in control somehow and to hide. And to let this energy break free, this would heal this depression from the inside somehow. I come to this later. It's a very difficult point of view. Because when we try to go away from this depression, when we try to heal it somehow, we are always talking on the level where the depression acts. So when we remember our childhood, we create a story why we have this depression. Maybe, it's just like an example. There are millions of stories. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a story. Mostly, and why this depression is whatever, and we find situations in our life, maybe whatever. There are parent stories, there are job stories, there are whatever family stories, there are self-confidence stories. There are millions of stories why you experience depressions. And then you feel better because you have a reason. Now I understand. Now. And then you try to work it out. Maybe you go back to this and remember whatever, but understand me. All the stories and all these ideas are creations of your mind. All these stories, whatever you tell yourself or whatever you experience or whatever you look for, is a creation of your mind. But the depressions are on a different level, and you can't influence the level of the depressions on the level of mind. This don't work. It's a different level. So you can talk and create stories, millions of stories, but this, after all, won't help you. For transforming, for going into the process of transformation, we don't need stories. We don't need the stories, because these stories never brought anyone to any point. They are just useless. I mean, of course you can. Of course therapy is important, very, very, on the normal, you know what I mean? And that's very important. I don't want to judge this or say, don't go there or don't do that. Of course not, do it, please, go your normal way. But from when you want to try to go to this point from the occult or spiritual point of view, we need to change our position in our mind. Because this is not a psychological and not a physical problem, this is an energetical problem. Because we close the door to an energetical thing, that's all. And to come back to this energy, we need to change the snow into yes. This sounds very easy, and after all, it is very easy, because the level on where these things are built up in ourselves are very childish, very, very easy build. But we need to leave the level of software and go to the hardware. You know what I mean? And I think this is a thing what normal therapy can't do. They stay on the level of the software level, but you need to change some, or it's very, a little bit, the example a little bit, but my experience when these things change were when this Kundalini woke up. I don't know if you know this, what I'm talking about. Kundalini is just a name for this energy inside yourself. And in this process of Kundalini awakening, these depressions became in such a amazing, intense way, so hard that I was so close to psychic hospital. It was the isolation was. It was absolutely, yeah, it was really, really, really suffering. But my will, my true self, the will of my true self to get free from this limitation, to break through, to be free, was so strong that this energy took me up and brought me through these things. I can't really explain it. It was a really physical experience. It was like waves of energy. I was crying for days, crying and laughing at the same time for days, and everything. When I was like shaking, my body was like this because this energies broke free. And this is the healing of depression. There is no depression anymore. It's gone because everything inside of my whole self was kind of changing. I can't really explain this, but I want always to, like, wie sagt man, motivieren, motivate, to go away from the stories we create about our depression. When you have a depression, then you have a physical experience. And the first thing and the best thing you can do in this moment is not to say no to the depression, because then you create the depression because of the depression. You have two depressions, the depression and the depression because of the depression. Because, oh, depression, oh no, everything is down, you know. Sometimes very easy thing, something is falling down, oh no, you know, and then, oh, you know, whoa, level down, whatever. And this depression things, and this no, changing into yes, changing into a yes to the situation and to the depression. But the thing is that we created this depression because we wanted to survive somehow. So this is a good thing. And we should be grateful for this and not saying no to it, because it was a healing moment in our life. It saved us somehow. So, and that our human existence, our human whatever is able to do this is absolutely amazing. That we can create a situation like the depression. And I think this is one, for me, from this occult point of view, the first very important thing is to change the point of view about this. Not saying no anymore. This is not an evil thing, not something you have to get away from or you have to get healed of. First step is to say, yes, this is a thing in my life. Why ever? We don't need a reason. We don't need a story in our mind, because your situation is right now and right here. And mostly you created the story very, very in your past of your life or wherever. But it's not, I mean, we are not childs anymore, you know. Why are we still in this thing, you know? What happened? Why is this such a ruling force in our life? Because we somehow feed it. And this is, yeah, it's difficult, because when you say someone who is, mostly when you experience depressions, you feel yourself a little bit like a victim. It's like, I experience, you know, you ask the universe, why? You know, or maybe you have an answer, and then you see yourself fighting. Oh, why? You know, it's always like and the first thing is in this would be to change it and to say yes to it and to embrace it somehow. And this is strange, because it makes your life totally worse. So how can you say yes and embrace a situation like this? This is a hard thing, but this would be the occult path to go there. Embrace it. This was my idea. This was the way I did it. When it comes up, sometimes it takes you some time, some days, hours, weeks, whatever, till you recognize, okay, now you're under depression. You know, now you're in again somehow. And when it comes in waves, and then you feel like this, and then you go, yeah, and then everything is down. And in this moment, stop stories, because all stories created in your mind in the depression are from the depression. You create stories of darkness. You know this. I don't want this. I can't do it. It's too much for me. I'm tired. I can't. You know what I mean? There are millions of stories. Stop the stories and go back to your body and feel, how does it feel in a physical way? How does your body feel when you are in this? And then you will recognize that this is not the absence of something, that there is something. A depression is an entity. You can feel it. You can feel depression. There is something. It's not just absence. No. There is something. And when you break this no into a yes and into a meditation, go into your darkness, silence. You also, when you're in depression, it's better to have silence. Not do TV and sweets. Darkness and room, silence. And then feel your body and feel this depression. Give this depression room. Experience it in the whole, the most you can. The most you can handle, because it could be very hard. And let it be, let it exist, and say thank you. Be grateful. Be grateful and say thank you to this state, to this moment, whatever you call it, however you experience it. And breathe out. Stop the fight, because there is a fight. And, stop this fight. You don't need to fight. And give yourself time and stop this wanting, because when you are in depression, you don't want depression. It's always a no. Always no. And always wanting something else. I want out of this. I want whatever. Stop wanting. Stop, you know what I mean? Stop stories. Stop this brain thing. Come from here to your heart and to your body and feel the things. And this is the first step. The first step to get in contact to the energies. Because when you say no to this situation or to this contact, you lost contact. You're isolated. So take the first thing you experience to get into the contact, because it's about to getting into contact. This is the solution. Get into contact and don't judge what it is. When you feel the depression, then there is a feeling. And when you go into the contact with this feeling of the depression, then you come into the contact. Then this no turns into a yes. You open your arms and you embrace this feeling, however even if it feels so worse and so bad. Stop judging, stop feeling this. And this moment will start changing this thing, because the reality you create by not wanting it makes it a monster. And this is a very old story. There are millions of stories in fairy tales and horror movies where the monster becomes sweet when you embrace it and give love to it. And of course it's hard to love a moment like this, but when you recognize that this is a part yourself created, and when you love yourself, the whole, then you need to love this creation as well. Got me from the idea? So become peaceful. Stop fighting. Because this fight, this no inside yourself always creates more frontiers and more no, we need to come into contact again. And this contact starts in the depression. This is how it is. And when you feel something, whatever it is, even if it's a bad feeling or something in your tiredness, when you feel your tiredness, then go into the contact and say, yes, I am tired. Hey, that's no problem. Be tired. And you can breathe out. And this is how the whole thing starts to transform. And then there's a second point of view on depression I want to bring, because depression is not just from the experience, not just tiredness and emptiness and stagnation. There's a different phase, a second phase of depression. And this is anger. The second phase of depression is anger. Because when you are in a depression, you mostly feel like you have no might, you can't do anything. And this is not a good feeling for your ego. So, of course, someone can get angry. You don't want this. Why again? And anger is kind of an emotion, kind of a power inside yourself, a force, feels better than the depression. But it is created by the depression after all. So this kind of, it's mostly a thing of male humans. So mostly depression, so I said that female depression is more like introverted, sad, whatever, down, and male depression is more like anger, like because you are overloaded with the situation. You can't handle the situation anymore, So you are not in contact anymore. Oh no, that's too much for me. That's too much. Where do I hide? Where do I go hiding? Too much. Some people hide inside, in silence. Oh, too much. Oh, shut down. Oop. Some people hide in anger. Too much. Same but different. It feels different. And anger makes you feel more like you are strong. So you don't see your depression. You don't see your fear, because you want to see your strongness, your ego, like I'm strong, I am power, I am angry, I'm powerful. So, and this bullshit is also a story. But it's also a contact. I mean, no one wants to be angry. And the anger is a no as well. You know what I mean? Anger is no. Same situation, it's no. And when you come from the no to the yes, it's so easy just to say yes. After all, it sounds so easy, but it's not, because we create millions of no stories, And when we see ourselves not as victims anymore from something dark coming over us, or something happened to us in our childhood, or something happened to us, or we are like, we are like, oh, we are watching for a partner since 20 years, there's no partner, whatever, and it's all this point of view, creates all the stories. And then there is a different story. There is a third point. There is this physically depression. Someone say, hey, this is not a psychological thing, or not a thing of my mind or my psychic thing. I have depressions because my body is like. I hear this a lot, these answers. My depression is physically. Perfect. So you don't need to care about it, That's the best answer you can say. Of course it's physically. What else? What else could it be than our body? Of course it's our body. Of course it has influence of your whole system, on your whole system. And every doctor can whatever, it's depression, your brain, whatever, then you have your this brain watch, I had this, and how you say this? Computer, whatever. Look in your brain. They look and watch, and then you say, oh, they can see the depression. So it's in your brain. It's neurological. Yeah, of course, it had become neurological because our body is connected to all our bodies. It's not just our physical body. We have our energetical body. We have our psychic body. We have our astral body. Whatever. They are connected. They are together. And when on one level there is something not wanted, where it's a huge no on one level. Of course, the shadow is coming to this other level. Of course, it grows, It's like, and Of course it's physical. Of course the doctor can see it in your brain. I mean, what else, But different as well. When you have a meditation and you feel whatever, you can see it in your brain as well. So the idea of it is from occult points of view in the past. Sorry, I might make a change. It was, not it is, it was. Some of these creatures in the fairy tales or some gods, whatever, they symbolize these ideas. I mean, this is human. This is not new, This is a state of mind. This is a creation of ourselves. This is not new. This is like people experience depressions all since we exist. And sometimes a depression is part of a spiritual path. This is also very important. A depression is not just pathological or some is a disease, how you call it, whatever, or some suffering. It also could be a part of your spiritual journey. And this spiritual journey can take years. So it's not like, oh yeah, I experienced 1.5 years depressions. I did yoga before and whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah, of course, you know what I mean? You wonder, of course. Things can come up. And you find yourself in rooms where you have to do something. So this is a different experience of depressions. When we say a depression is kind of a state of mind, an isolated state of mind, where we are in isolation inside of yourself, these rooms can also be created by your spiritual path to bring you into some isolated states where you have to experience some whatever to grow or you have to do some job, you know what I mean, in there, to maybe to find trust inside yourself on some point in your life, or to find love or whatever, sometimes it's more this, it's more on a meta level. And these spiritual depressions, they look very same and very like a normal depression. And when you experience this is not fun as well. And you wonder, because this mostly comes out of nothing. The spiritual depressions mostly have no story. You can't find a story. Because mostly, hey, I'm fine, everything was cool. And then suddenly, and something in your life, and then it's always good, to communicate. This is what occultism teaches us. Occultism is we make lights in the darkness to look what is there. This is the idea, and we want to communicate. We want to ask whatever. There's a communication. It's about it's about communication, and a depression is a communication. Depression is communication, because there is something communicating with you. There is a feeling, emotion. There is something. You are experiencing something. And the question is, who is experience? Think this. Who is the self experiencing? This is the most important question about everything. And depression is a very good state where you can ask yourself these questions, because you are in an isolated room. So ask yourself, who am I? Who is experiences? And when you really come to this point, when you really identify yourself with this true self of experience, then this depression lose control, because it can't control you anymore, because yourself is not identifying with this depression anymore. And this is kind of a switch. And this is amazing. And depression can be a gate to enter rooms of darkness. And it also can be an initiation. It is part of initiation stories sometimes. When you are on a spiritual path, on an occult path, and these initiations sometimes are guided by depressions, but not forever. It comes up and then when you have your job is done somehow, it transforms. And sometimes it also can be like a language. It's always a language. It's always a language. Everything what you experience is a language, and a language is need to be understood and to communicate. So you are always welcome to communicate with your experience, with your situation. You know, I do it very often. Sometimes I find myself in situations, not just outside, inside situations. When I'm talking about situation, I don't mean like, you know, I mean an experience. There is a moment of experience. Sometimes I don't know, oh, what is it? Why is it coming up? Or too much? Or this and that? So communicate, ask it, go into silence and ask for yourself, what is a language? What is a feeling? What is it feeling? How does it feel? What is the language in it? What needs to be communicated? What there is? And listen, but not listen to the stories, because the stories are created by your mind. Listen to the energy. Listen to what is inside, the potential of it somehow. And then it also can transform. And these depressions are, it has to do with pressure, of course, somehow. Yeah. And I don't know who created this word. It would be very interesting. Does anyone know? Who know? Depression, where does it come from? Who created this word? I don't know. For this? Let's have a look next time. Let's have a look. And what else to say? Depressions can be somehow healed by a spiritual process, like Kundalini awakening. Let's call it like this. I mean, you know, when this energy, and it also can be a part of it. And this depressive moment sometimes also is used for magical things, because there are some gates open in this moment. When you close the gates to the outside, sometimes the gates are open to the inner side. And this is not fun sometimes, because you look into kind of a darkness when you watch inside. But this, hey, let's go this way. Why not? You know? So this is also a moment where a depression can become a gate or something different than a bad experience. But to experience the good depressions, you have to first say yes to the state of mind. And I mean, there are some, there are some people experience this, how sagt man, manische Depression, manic, how you say in English, I don't know, you know what I mean. And I mean, this is so, of course, I think it's very easy to understand why yourself is creating these waves, you know. Of course, because when you're in depression, you are in a state of not moving. And when you are, then you can move again. Oh, good. So you associate moving, with good, and not moving with depression. But after a certain, when you are so in moving, it's like in Rajas, you say, when the gunas, when you're so, then you are exhausted sometimes, and then you need to relax. And relaxing is associated with not an depression, something like this. So this waves created is also like, because when you are in this other thing, when you are not in the depression, when you are in this activated, in this moody, then you say no to the depression, then you say no to relaxing, you say no to sleep, you say no to calm down, you know what I mean? There is also a no. So there's one no in this and one no, always this no. And when our childish self, our subconsciousness learns that there is no more need to hide anymore, then maybe very, very shy. I mean, it took us years to make this thing like a depression, to let the thing to become so strong that it rules our life. So it's not from one day to the other gone. give time to it, let it transform, and when there's a very shy, when you give yourself motivated to life again, because there is a fear of life in this depression. You don't say no to life after all. You say no to a situation, you say no to something in yourself, whatever it is. When you say no to one part, whatever this part is, even if it's a bad part and this could be dangerous to you, when you say no to one mini second of your life, then the depression grows. So just say yes to everything, whatever it is. Yes, heart open. Then a depression has no power, because when you say yes, you even say yes to the depression. You say yes to the states. Embrace it. Say yes. And this yes transforms everything. Sounds easy? It is easy, but it takes time, and you can't do it with your normal thing. And from the occult point of view, let's come back to the occult thing. When you work with occult things, you work with energies. And these energies have names. And you can communicate with energies. And energies are energies of yourself. All energies are part of yourself, your existence. When you communicate with your energies inside of yourself, these energies, they can transform this. They can bring you to a different level. Mostly, the normal, everyday self, your normal ego every day, is not able to go to these levels and do anything. When you are in the world of your stories and your actions, you have no contact to these levels you need to go to change a depression. So it's better to not involve your ego in this story. Let it go. The best thing is let the energies do it for you somehow. And this is a very, we don't need to fight, we don't need to be angry, we don't need to be anything. We just let this go and work, because the energy wants to be free. Your true self wants to be free. And when you let your true self do the work, then it will find a way. But this way mostly don't feel good. You need to go, the way you came to this point was painful. Of course, the way out is painful as well. It's the same way as in, mostly a little bit faster. So this could be an idea. And then a last point I want to say about this, and this is the evolutionary depression we have in society somehow, because we are built to survive. Our energy is built to survive. Our energy is built to be connected to everything and to be in this world, to be the fullest of life. But in our society, we have something we are not allowed to be somehow. We don't. They don't want to see anger. They don't want to see fear. They don't want to see sadness. We need to put some parts of life somewhere. We are not. So this is the first depression. And then the next thing is our normal social life is so good we don't need to survive anymore. We just go to the supermarket. There is no need for our normal life power to be in contact with normal life, because we are not hunters anymore. So we are asleep, our energy is sleeping. And we have no evolutionary need for energy to rise. So we keep it down. We are lazy, watching TV, going to the supermarket. And these energies, they want to live, they want to come up, they want to be alive. But we say no. No, not this energy. It's too much. Not this. Not dancing naked in the street. You know what I mean? Somehow a little bit. And I don't mean that this is the solution somehow. But depression is a problem of the civilized Western world somehow. The state of mind is experienced by humans all over the world. But as I told you, from different reasons. But our evolutionary depression we have now is that we are just we are meatballs, you know, like lazy meatballs, like clicking on a computer. There is no energy anymore. And this is the thing. Energy, I mean, artists are different mostly because there is energy. You know what I mean? Some other people, I don't want to, there are million, you know, but this, from a social point of view, our whole civilization, like we are here now, is a depression. We are in a depression, like we are living now, because we are not, our energies are not free. We limit our energies, we limit ourselves, we limit us, you know, we try to put us in whatever it is. And there is no evolutionary need anymore to rise energy, because we can survive without energy. We have energy from TV and from food, from fast food. So this is the thing. And this is why maybe people who are long times in their life in existence, from a point of existence, in a dangerous situations, maybe very less money, homeless, whatever. But sometimes when they get their moment, when they get it, you know, and they are active in this, you know, they are growing with the situations, because then your energy is activated. When you are in a depression and suddenly you, whatever, the war, I mean, there are so millions of people right now in the world experiencing war. They need to run away, they need to hide, they fear for their lives, they don't need to food. This is absolutely, this is a horror situation. There is no place for depression. Maybe the depression that your normal life is gone somehow, but this is a crying, this is a pain, this is maybe not a depression. But when you need to survive, the energy will rise. And when you bring yourself into the state of mind that you will want to survive from a psychological point of view, because the depression comes so much in your life that it rules your life, then your energy will be activated. But you need to be in a I mean, the moment you when you fall into this depression was very dangerous to yourself, from the existence, however. So you need the same moment to come out. And sometimes you see in movies, people they were hit by a flash, bam, and then they are different, whatever, and then the second flash, and they are, you know, normal again. Some movies are like this. This is same. There was such a power to bring you into this isolation of depression. You need the same power to get out. And this power is life. This is the lust for life, the hunger, the want for life. When you say, I don't want to live anymore like this, I want to live the fullest. It's better for me to die or to whatever than to live anymore like this. You need to activate your life force, the power of life, your energy of your existence. And this energy will break you through this depression, and then this will transform. And this is the occult idea of this a little bit.